Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Software Engineer K, and today we've got some really cool stuff to go through. We have the NFT Summit, which Dave was a part of on the panel. So we're going to be going through a quick summary of that and just a few notable points. We also had some updates with regards to the development of the Veveverse, which Dave shared as well, which is pretty cool. And we also have a pretty cool article that I just want to go through with you guys because I've commented on it and Reese also commented on it. And it's just a really, really cool way to kind of raise awareness. And this kind of community activism, it does work. So I just want to share that with you guys as well. So firstly, if we go straight to the NFT Summit. So this was today. We've got day 2 tomorrow as well. I'm still going to watch it regardless of if it's Ecomi related or not, just because the whole NFT space is growing and it's really cool. So Dave, he had a couple of really, really cool things to say. What I'll do is first I'll just go through one really notable clip for you guys.
And I've got one question from the audience here, David. When Pokemon?
Wait. Listen, I think these brand owners, by the way, we have a whole team work on licensing, and there are thousands of brands out in the world. Most of these brands, they go through a huge list of complexity internally, through legals, through every rough of things. And we are under extreme, very tight NDA with all our brand owners and vendors. We love every brand to be participating in what we do. As we build out technology to be scalable, more stable in every way, more and more, you will see more and more immersed brands that just coming on. We are always constantly talking to dozens of brands, and we have dozens of deals on the works all the time. And I'll be quite honest, right now, I think we were expecting about 25 to 30,000 active users on our platform, and I think we have just a little over 300 or 320,000 active users I saw on our backend.
So there you have it, guys. Pokemon confirmed. Okay, well, he did make it very, very explicit that, they're under NDAs. They can't, talk about this stuff. But he did give his thoughts on, they are acquiring a lot of licenses. A lot of these licenses that they were in talks with earlier who weren't quite, fond of the whole blockchain idea, they have started, contacting VeVe to kind of get in on it as well. So my thoughts are there is a competitor called Quid, which has a Pokemon license for 2D stickers, but they have it. So, my logic and reasoning is there's a competitor which has, I guess, less of a relationship with a lot of these licenses. And if they've managed to obtain these licenses, then, people who have very, very long lasting relationships, Al Khan, he has relationships with a lot of these big licenses. They should be able to acquire it. And, ultimately it just comes down to money, really. Like, okay, do you have a enticing enough deal for these licensors to use your platform as opposed to another platform, or try and make their own platform, for example. Most of these licensors won't make their own platform just because of how much it costs and capital it requires, and they're in the business of other stuff, their characters and stuff. They're not in the business of making and selling NFTs. That's why they use platforms like VeVe. So we know that Dave he was quite adamant on this idea of traceability, uniqueness. So if your NFT belonged to a celebrity at some point, then you can show that that is there. And that's really, really cool, because traditionally it was very, very hard to authenticate authentic collectibles. He used the Babe Ruth baseball as an example. There are a lot of replicas around, so how do you authenticate the real one? Obviously there's like certificates of authenticity, but sometimes those get lost. So how do you then authenticate? So if everything's on a blockchain, you can see it super transparently, then there's no issue, no need. And I think that's kind of where the autograph will fit in as well, because we know that we can have autographs on our NFTs at some point. That is possible. So you can have a celebrity, digitally sign your NFT, and that is going to be there forever. You don't have to worry about people appraising it and whatnot. So that's one really, really key point of importance. The other point of importance is, as more and more people spend time online, they have a greater presence online, they spend most of the day online. It just makes sense that having, something online that shows, your ownership of it, something that you can show off, something that you can kind of play with. It just makes sense that that kind of industry will gain more popularity, will gain more adoption. And David, he had spotted this niche in the market, years ago when they first started working on VeVe, and now we're starting to see, the fruits of their labor. So that is another really cool, important point. But I would say definitely most importantly is that there are a lot of competitors coming to the space. And as we've seen with, Tesla, for example, the electric car space, even though there were loads of competitors coming in, it didn't necessarily drag Tesla's share price down. If anything, all of these competitors coming in is when Tesla had one of its biggest rallies, which was last year. I think all of these competitors will actually raise awareness of VeVe. So I wouldn't be scared of these competitors coming and taking market share. If anything, they're going to kind of, bring more awareness of this market, and people will decide, which platform they like the most, or maybe they like multiple platforms. If anything, it will just help VeVe in the long term. So that's just my thoughts on it. What I did also want to talk about is the VeVeverse. So Dave, you shared this really cool picture, and we can see some cool stuff in the showroom. I think the meeting that they had recently with those AWS principal architects, I think it might be related to managing scalability and kind of working on computational efficiency before they start to roll this out into beta, because they don't want to make the same kind of error that they would with VeVe, where they had way too many users on board and they had to spend loads of time on optimization and had to delay new feature releases. I think they're going to try and nail this first time around, just because they know of the demand that exists for this. So I think that's going to be really cool. And he also shared this really cool meme, his diamond hand ones, where, from his previous video with the Ron English, he talked about him having diamond hands because of his gloves. Didn't want to scratch it with his diamond hands. So what I did also want to touch on is this article. So this is by Christina Criddle. I think she's a BBC reporter. Yeah, BBC technology reporter. And she basically went through her experience of buying an NFT, and she described it as an absolute nightmare because she did it on, CryptoKitties, and she basically had to talk about, how she'd get MetaMask and then send crypto and then convert it, and then the gas fees, and then, et cetera, et cetera. VeVe is really cool because literally anyone, like, even if you have like, your grandparents, you give them a phone, they could probably buy an NFT on VeVe because it's just that simple. You load up some gems through your bank account or whatever, your Google Play, Apple Pay, whatever, and then you click buy, and that is literally it. You don't have to worry about crypto. You don't have to worry about MetaMask. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And what's cool is people have started to comment. Reese, he left a comment on here, 150 likes on it right now. He just talks about, have you heard about VeVe? Kind of hides the crypto stuff. So definitely give this comment a like. And I also left a comment as well. So I said, I strongly recommend trying the VeVe app. They hide all the crypto nonsense and make it simple. The guys behind famous brands such as Pokemon, Superman, Batman, Adventure Time, and a load of other big licenses have contributed to the platform. And it's just my Supergirl NFT. And I noticed that loads of people have just from the Ecomi fam have just been like flooding this article. I'm seeing like loads of VeVe NFT pictures on here. So I'm pretty sure she's probably seen VeVe now. She might give it a try and do an article on it. And I think that would probably just raise even more awareness. So I think that's really, really cool as well. Now, lastly, I did also want to just touch on today's price. So firstly, I did buy 330k more OMI today. Just because I saw it was sat on a pretty good support. Volatility has been very, very low past few days. So I thought, hey, this is a pretty good opportunity to buy. So I'll probably just get in now. So if we just go straight to the hourly chart, we can see that we have formed a very, very good point of resistance here, as well as a very tight support. So I think, what this means is the whales have stopped selling, whereas the holders are hodling. And that is good because that prepares us for a move upwards. And if you just go to the 4-hourly chart, so we can see that, we were going down, we were hitting lower lows. And now we have hit a higher low for the first time in ages. And we've kind of just settled around there. we could, if Bitcoin, something happens to Bitcoin, we could come back lower to this low here. But I think we found a very, very good point of support now. If we can hold this for, say, just a few more days, then that's my confirmation that this is a good point where you can set pending buys if the price does go up higher, unexpectedly. But what I'm looking forward to is, just OMI kind of staying around this price for a few more, ideally a few more months. But, if it goes up, then it goes up, because we have so many things to look forward to. We know the exchange has been delayed. So when that happens, I guarantee there'll be people buying back in. We've got an upcoming Comic-Con as well, San Diego Comic-Con. We've got, the newer, bigger drops. There's no drop this week. So, the drop next week's probably going to be pretty cool, with the updates to the system as well. I think they're working on the render pipeline for the graphics of the NFTs. And, as we get more and more information on Veveverse as well, that's going to be pretty cool. And obviously, drivable T-Rex should be potentially in the works. There are rumors of a drivable T-Rex, but we'll see. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I want to go through with you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe to support the content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.